Well, I'm so glad that you guys are here tonight. I have been looking forward to this all summer, and I'm really excited about what's going to happen up here. It's just a little bit weird. Does anybody know where this box came from? It's been here all day. Is it? It's your house? This is Trey's house. Trey, you can't have your house on stage, no. It's so big. It's a time capsule? Awesome. How many of you guys want to know what's inside the box? Ooh, I don't know. I don't know. Hear me out. There was a story about a box that I'm not so fond of. I don't know if you guys know about it. Yes, somebody said it, Pandora. There's an old Greek legend, and don't think that I believe in Greek gods. I don't. But there was this old Greek legend, I'll call it that, where Zeus gave a gift to a girl named Pandora. Gave it to a girl named Pandora on her wedding night. Can you guys hear me? Yes, sir. Okay. Shh. Gave it to her on this gift, to her, a box, if you will, on her wedding night, and told her, do not open it. And so, she did what all of us probably would have done, and she opens the box. And guess what was in the box? All kinds of evil came out of the box. All kinds of evil, plagues, diseases, greed, lust. All the bad things came out of the box, and she shuts the lid as quick as she can. But it's too late, because evil has already been released on the earth. So how many of you guys want to open the box? No! I don't know that that's what this is. I'm just saying, do you want to crack it just a little bit? Okay, listen. How many of you guys could be given a present and not open it? Really? You could do that? You could really do that? You could be given, okay. You could be given a present by your girlfriend, gentlemen, and never open it. Never see what's inside. How many of you guys could do that?
I can see it right now.
I don't know. I don't think we could. What if I told you I know what's inside this box? What if I told you that what's in this box has caused problems between people for years? What if I told you that what was in this box has destroyed friendships? What if I told you that I have lost two very strong friendships that will almost probably never be the same because of what's in this box? Do you want to open this box? I don't want to open this box either. I don't like what's in this box. If I open this box tonight, many of you might even leave. Should we just let some things lay still? Shouldn't we maybe, isn't there wisdom in not speaking the whole truth? Isn't there wisdom in not saying everything that's on your mind? I mean, we've been taught that, right? That's social, right? You don't speak everything that's on your mind. I'll give you an example. When I was in 5th grade, 5th grade is right before everything starts getting weird. You guys remember this, right? But one day in 5th grade, I start noticing that things are changing. I start noticing because we're doing this competition, and guys, we like to compete, right? And so we're doing this swing, and me and this other kid are swinging, and our goal is to jump out of the swing, and who gets further is awesome. And so our goal in life is to be awesome, and so we do. And I beat the kid, but the girls begin to cheer for the other kid. And I'm like, hey, what the heck? I won this clear, fair, and square. How come you're cheering for the other guy, right?
Right.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. It wasn't about attraction, and it wasn't about a girlfriend, boyfriend of any kind. And I saw basically this awkward thing in front of me. Like, what is going on? Why is this box on the stage? What's going on here? And I was like, so what's the deal here? And of course, they hem-haw around, the girls do, and, and they just don't talk. I'm like, whoa, what's... You know when you know somebody's been talking, and you don't know what they've been talking about, but you could tell it's big because they go, you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
That's what they were doing, and I'm like, what is in this box? You're so scared of telling me. What happened is, over the next several years, I started figuring out what it was. Because the next year, we were all kind of, I don't know who did this, but we were taken and put into different groups. There were the star-belly Sneetches and the ones who didn't have stars on their belly. You know what I mean? Those Dr. Seuss lovers. There were those of us who, for some reason, weren't on the in crowd, but we didn't know why. And so I go to these girls and I'm like, and I was stupid enough to say, why is this box here? And I found the answer. I opened that box and all kinds of evil came out, shaping me into a person that I didn't want to become. Because I overreacted to what was in the box, and I became what some would say is just a chapter out of The Outsiders. Anybody read that book?
Yeah.
Well, let me just say I wasn't the Soch. I was probably more the greaser. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I let that formulate who I was. I've let that become my identity. And what was in the box, the evil of that segregation that came out, it affected me adversely. Well, I gave my heart to the Lord in high school. And then me and my youth group, we were putting on a youth rally out in the park. And by this time, I'd got some friends. A lot of us were Christians, and we're like, yes, we're going to go reach our city, Perryton, Texas. And so we're throwing a youth rally. This friend of mine from art class comes. He pulls up into the parking lot. I'm like, dude, and he's also a leader of his youth group, as a youth. And I said, man, you should go get your youth group. I'll get mine. Let's go together. Let's do this thing. And he was like, yeah. And there was a box. And I was like, no, man, come on. Let's go. Get your guys. I'll get mine. We'll see God save this city. It'll be awesome. And again, I hadn't learned my lesson from 5th grade. So I looked at the box, and instead of ignoring it like socially, non-retarded people do, people who actually know what they're doing socially, I approached it. I'm like, hey, what's it? And I opened it up, and all kinds of evil came out. He said to me, Mikey, my people don't really hang out with your people. And at that moment, I had wished that maybe I had left the box closed, because we weren't from the popular church. We were from the unpopular church. And so his people were from the popular church, and we just don't mix. What was in this box? What's in this box is not popularity. I'm just going to tell you that right out. I know that. I'm just talking about different times we've seen the box. You know what I mean? And we opened it up. Recently, I was in a meeting with a bunch of ministers. And I want you to understand, I love these men. These are my brothers, the other ministers on campus here. And we're having a meeting, okay? I'm the new president of the Alliance. The Alliance is all the ministries, like all the ministers together. We pray together. We reach out together. We, do cool stuff together. It's the Catholics, the Church of Christ, us, the Baptists, the Navigators next door. And so, we make up the Alliance. And I'm the new president of the Alliance. And so I think, hey, we're a bunch of ministers. We should be able to have a Bible study together. So I call up my friend, Kent, and he's going to lead the Bible study the next day. He's the one over at the Bus for Christ. Great guy. We get there, and we start talking, and he asks a very simple question. He says, what is the very first thing you would do when you lead someone to Jesus? What would you do at that moment? What would you teach them? We all go around the circle, and at that moment, I start realizing that there is a big old box in the room that nobody has ever opened. Do you know what I'm talking about? One guy, me, I say, I'm the first guy, and I say, well, man, I'll just take him through John because I want to show him the story. You know, I'm a theater guy, and so I want to show him the story of how Jesus did this awesome stuff. You know, go to the next guy, and he's like, you know, textbook answer, you know, from his denomination. The next guy, textbook answer from his denomination. Another guy says, well, we think the Bible's a good resource, but, you know, I'm like, wait, did you just call the Bible a resource? Isn't it kind of like the be-all, end-all of everything? And I started seeing that there's this elephant. And I told you, I'm socially retarded. I'm stupid. And so I'm looking at the box, and I'm like, well, shoot, let's just dig in, why don't we? And let's see what's in there. Boom! Open it up. And I'm, you know, we're gentle about it. I'm like, hey, so how do you get saved? You know, what's your goal in your thing? And and all of a sudden one guy's looking for the exit, the other guy is getting red, you know, and I'm just sitting there going, whoa, I just stepped on a landmine and I didn't even know it. The denominational craziness of what has happened throughout the centuries, all inside this box came open, and one of them left, and the other one looked at me and said, Mikey, you can't ever do that. I said, why? Why can't we talk about these things? Am I crazy? Why can't we talk about these things? And he said, Mikey, you're not going to solve 2,000 years of church trouble. You're not going to fix the world in one meeting. And I said, I don't want to fix the world. I just want to talk with these other men. Because I know what my background tells me about you guys, but I want to hear from you what you think. I don't want to know what someone else has said about you. I want to know from you, because it makes more sense coming from you than a textbook, you know? I don't want to solve 2,000 years of church drama. I want to figure out why we can't work together. Why can this box grow so far that I can barely see you across it, and then we say we're together? Why? It's already getting tense, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Is it already getting tense out there? I can't solve 2,000 years. And foolish Mikey thought that he could open up a box and deal with the contents that were inside of this after 2,000 years of stuff that had been stuffed in it. I left that meeting very sad. I left feeling very childish. I felt very stupid. I felt like I'd been slapped on the wrist. I asked the obvious questions that only children ask, that whenever the child asks that question, the mom says, shh, we'll talk about it later. Because we don't want to actually talk about it amongst who it matters with. Questions like the kids asked in that old story about the emperor with no clothes. So you remember this story? These two con men con this king into thinking that the most lavish clothing is made out of invisible thread. And so they worked for months getting paid on the king's payroll, making this fake clothing that was supposedly the best clothing there was because it was made of invisible thread. And so at the end of the story, the king is parading in front of everybody buck naked. And he's buck naked, and everyone, the king has convinced everyone that it is the best thing going. So everyone's applauding, and everyone's like not noticing that he's naked, except for these two kids. And these two kids are like, hey, why is the king naked? Oh crap, the box just opened. You know what I'm saying? And everyone looks at them, oh my goodness, we should just kill these two kids. We should not open what's inside this box. We should not open this box, because if we do, who knows? See, I'm looking at this box tonight, and I'm thinking that it's just a little bit too heavy what's actually inside this box. I hadn't actually said what's in this box, but I think it's a little too heavy, too dangerous, maybe too much of a risk for us at this moment to open. See, our culture has 10 commandments. I'm not talking about the 10 commandments of our Bible. I'm talking about the 10 commandments of our culture. These are just some of them that I've noticed amongst ourselves. Number 10. Thou shalt have swag. Right? Am I right? Thou shalt have swag. Think about what you think about people who don't have swag.
They don't have swag.
And the goal in life is to become the alpha male, the top dog, the one that everyone else worships. Wow, that's kind of opposite of the Bible. Number 9, thou shalt do whatever thy need to do to win the approval of the opposite sex, right? Come on now.
Yeah, you're right.
All right, freshmen. All right, hold on. I need to talk to the freshmen. Somebody say glory. Upperclassmen. All you girls wearing those short shorts. You know what I'm talking about. Those short shorts. I must do whatever I can to get the approval of the opposite sex. But let me tell you something. Harvard study showed that when you show more of yourself, a guy actually sees less of you because the parts of his brain that light up are the parts that see you as an object. Men, I see you all puffing your chest out. I see you at the gym. Come on now. Like the world depends on how other women worship you. What if? Somebody say what if? What if there's more to life than that? That's not even my sermon tonight. That's just number 9. Number 8. Number 8. Single is weird. And I see that some of you subscribe to that. You believe that. So much so that when Renee had chosen to stay single for a certain amount of time, everywhere she worked, people thought she was a lesbian. No, I'm serious. Because she had made a vow to God to say, no, I'm not going to waste my heart on just some random guy. Come on, girls. He's going to have to show himself true to me, and then I will give my heart to him. But single is weird according to our culture. That's not my sermon tonight. Let's go on. Number 7, use sarcasm to hide true feelings. Subline, strike first so that you are not first struck. Sarcasm, you can hide behind, I was just joking, your whole life and never show who you really are. That's not my sermon tonight. That's not even what I'm talking about. Number 6, thou shalt wear a mask. It's kind of like number 7. Subline, keep your image strong, build strong walls to keep the mystery, and therefore make others worship you and want to be you. That's why we wear a mask. We're afraid to show who we really are. But that's not what my sermon's about tonight. That's not even it. Number 5, the victim is always right. If you don't believe me, then when someone is right and they jump on somebody else or something happens on Facebook, it doesn't really matter who's right. It doesn't matter who's right. Whoever's getting picked on is right, even if they're dead wrong. Go watch it. Go see. You'll see more of that later. I don't have time to go into that one. That's not my sermon tonight. It doesn't matter who's really right, but who says what better than the other person said it, that's who's right. So it becomes more of look at this, the whole judicial system. It's like, you could tell OJ murdered that lady. You don't know who OJ was, but OJ was this guy. You did in the glove. Anybody know? Okay, anyway. And he's guilty, but for some reason, whoever presents whatever better, and he was dead wrong. The victim's always right. Oh, they're picking on me because whatever. Number 4, thou shalt use the Bible until it disagrees with me. Oh, crap. I haven't even started preaching yet, and you're about to leave. Oh, man, I've seen people twist the word around. I've seen the people twist the word around and make it do whatever they want it to do. To make them feel okay about going to Midnight Ropaho. I'm not judging. Come on. All I'm saying is, can you say meat market? Can you say meat market? That's all it is. Going back to number 9, thou shalt do whatever they need to do to win the approval. All right. Oh, I just need to stop and have an altar call right now. All right, here we go. Use the Bible and believe what the Bible says until Lady Gaga tells you were born that way. It's not in the Bible. But I'll use the Bible to, Jesus loves me. I'm going to get to heaven. That's what I want. But I don't want to go with all the other stuff that goes along with it. All right, ladies, if you had a man said, I'm going to marry you, but I'm going to cheat on you one day a year. Raise your hands, ladies, if you're okay with that. You're a man. And you're a man, too. And I guarantee you wouldn't be okay with your wife cheating on you once a year. Stay in school, don't do drugs. Okay. Number 3. Now it's starting to get very raw. Number 3, avoid conflict at all costs. In fact, because you feel the conflict rising, go to everyone but the person you have a problem with and talk to them. Raise up an army and go and kill that person on their Facebook wall. Slaughter them. Which leads me to number 2. If you must have conflict, use a Facebook wall, gain an army behind you, and push that person into the ground. Kill him. That's not Jesus, that's the world. And number 1, don't put it up yet. Number 1 is the biggest commandment that we have. I think it goes through all of us, including myself and all of us. Thou shalt not be awkward. See, our culture has these 10 commandments. Am I right? Come on. Am I right?
You're right.
And if you break that number 1 commandment, all hell will break loose against you. If you break that commandment, problems happen. Not so much out there, but inside here. Amen? See, we're afraid of awkward more than we are afraid of death. That's why you're afraid of public speaking. That's why public speaking is the number 1 fear in America, above death. Because, and you'll learn that in speech class, all right? It's number 1 fear above death because people are afraid of being awkward. They're afraid of that awkward moment. It's why we show up late to parties, because we don't want that awkward moment of having to start the party. We want to walk into the party. Amen? It's why you hate that part in church whenever the pastor says, well, take a few minutes to get to know some people, and you have an awkward handshake. You never know their name. You don't know what that's all about. That's why I say hug your neighbor. Don't even talk to them, just hug them. Because I want to avoid the awkwardness at all costs. It's why we find a way to text it instead of say it to the person. Who's guilty? Come on. How many of you would rather have conflict through texting? How many know that that's the wrong thing to do? But how many still want to do it? It's a box. Yeah, and have you ever noticed how awkward it is to hang up? It's like, yeah, okay, yeah, all right, yeah, all right, yeah, okay, bye, yeah, bye, bye. Oh, you hang up first. I don't know. Just get it over with. Here's what I need. Go away. That's what texting is. Okay? I'm not against texting. I'm all about it. I'm right there with you. But I'm talking about the awkwardness. We're afraid. We're afraid of awkward, right? And how many of you guys done this when you're afraid, when you see somebody you don't want to talk to? Oh, crap. I see him coming. Oh, yeah. Hey, what's going on, Joey? Yeah. I know that. What's up, dog? Okay, they're gone.
That's me at Walmart every night.
Who's texting me saying they hate my sermon? No. How many of you guys just love eating alone? I love it. I love sitting at a table all by myself at the calf while everyone else has friends. Why not? Because it's freaking awkward. I would rather not eat than eat alone. It's like that. It's like that awkward moment when you say goodbye to that person that you're walking with. You say, "Hey, all right, I'll see you later," and then you both walk the same direction. Or that awkward moment when everybody's singing happy birthday to you and you're just like, what are you supposed to do? Are you supposed to smile? Are you supposed to laugh? Are you supposed to sing along to yourself? What do you do to that? I hate my birthday because I hate it when people sing happy birthday to me. And I know now everyone's going to sing happy birthday. I'm like, okay. No. Stop that right there. Lock that down. All right. Or that awkward moment when it's quiet in class and your stomach decides to sound like a dying whale. Or even worse, you fart in class when it's quiet.
When it doesn't make a noise.
7th grade, okay? 7th freaking grade. Everybody turns to me and it starts triangulating. This person turns around. This person looks this way. This person looks this way. This person looks. It's triangulating on me. I'm like, whoa, dude. And they're like, no, it was you. It was you, man. Awkward. Here comes the turtles. Or that awkward moment when you're at a party and you see the food table. And you beeline it for the food table, and you're like just stuffing your mouth and no one else. Well, you don't like fondue? Why don't you like fondue? Oh, crap. I'm the only guy eating. Or that awkward moment when you're freaking jamming out in your car. Jesus! Just a small town girl! Living in a lonely world. You look next to you. Car full of people laughing and pointing at you alone in your car. It's awkward. Or that awkward moment. None of these have happened to me. None of these have actually happened to me. That awkward moment when you're sitting there and you put your arm around your girlfriend. Holy crap, that's not my girlfriend. Kid you not, I'm in a Skillet concert, jamming out in the mosh pit, grab this girl's hand. She's holding my hand for a good 3 to 5 minutes. That's not my girlfriend. It wasn't Carrie, it's some other girl. She just thought I was hitting on her. I don't know what the deal is. We shared a moment that will last till the end. Or that awkward moment when you're in the stall. And you're waiting. Hold on. And you're waiting to release the Kraken. Hold on. You're waiting to release the Kraken until everything is empty. And you release the Kraken. You open the stall door, and there was one little quiet guy over in the urinal, now washing his hands. What do? You go and wash your hands too. And he smirks at you. The guy, and you just got to own it, Yeah, that was me. Or the worst one, guys, that awkward moment when you're walking to class. You see several people, Nothing ever nothing happens. You're just a normal day, you're waving. You get to class and you realize you're buck naked. But then you wake up and you thank God that was a dream. Oh, my God. How many? Come on. Nobody else has had that dream? That's a horrible dream. I hate that dream. I mean, why are you carrying that book like that? I don't know. It's just... Awkward moments. We hate awkward moments. Someone say we hate it. I hate awkward moments. Raise your hand if you hate awkward moments. Oh, you don't hate it when other people have awkward moments. You love that. You hate it when other people have awkward moments. Facing what's in the box is going to be awkward. Guys, I'm sorry, guys, but I don't think that we as a group yet, we're not quite ready for what's really inside this box. But guess what? We do. We all have some kind of Pandora box, don't we? We all have a box like this in our life. This box represents the awkwardness that happens, the awkwardness of situations that you're not willing to face. The things that other people say are better left alone. They'll say things like, everything's fine how it is. Let's just leave that locked down. If it's not broke, don't fix it. We've been married for 30 years. Isn't that enough? They'll say, why go digging in the past to uncover something that we buried? A lie, something that's been hidden a long time ago. And that would be fine, but this freaking box just gets in the way. I can't do anything up here. It's just, it's cumbersome. Just sit. Okay. How's that? Is that good? It just doesn't feel right, It would be great, but this freaking box just gets in the way. And the problem with this is this morning, you guys didn't see this box, but this box was small, and it got bigger. This box becomes a prison. One day it's going to take up the whole stage. The box seems to grow. The box itself becomes awkward. It's that thing, it's that elephant in the room that nobody wants to talk about. It's that thing that is just in the way. It's like, hey, how's it going, What's that box doing there? I don't know. We're not going to talk about the box. We're going to leave the box on its own. That would be fine if it wasn't getting in the way. And it eventually becomes the only thing that you can look at. Like somebody who's cross-eyed and you're trying not to look into the wrong eye. You know what I'm saying? Have that ever happened?
Yes.
It's like, which eye is the right one? I don't know which one to look at. And all of a sudden, you can't even think about what you're trying to say to the person. You're trying not to look at the wrong eye. You know what I mean? Anybody? Am I just the only one? Awkward. Tonight, the box represents a family's hidden secrets. The elephant in the room, the cancer that we ignore in our relationships, the cancers that we ignore in our minds, the cancers that we ignore in our soul. It's what keeps abuse going. And the mom doesn't believe the kid. The kid keeps telling him how the stepdad is beating on him. And the mom just says, no, I don't want to make things worse. I don't want to open up that box, because if I open up that box, things are going to get a lot worse. And I'm wondering just, what could be worse? It's that part of us that clings to security over justice. That part of us that, because we're afraid of things getting worse, will continue just holding this thing together, living in a living hell so it doesn't get any worse. But how much worse does it have to get before this thing takes over our entire lives? How much worse does it have to get? It's that relationship that you stay in that you know that God is not in, but you don't want to start over, and you don't want to have an awkwardness on Facebook, and you don't want to see what's going to happen with your friends and how it's going to do all that, and so you trade in justice for security. A false security. It's that addiction that you're stuck in, but you're not willing to do what it takes to get out of it. You know that when you try to start facing this demon, this thing is going to overwhelm you. And so you just keep on pretending like it doesn't exist. It's that conversation you know you need to have with that person who is using you. But they might leave you alone. They might leave you alone, and you don't want to be alone, and you don't want to be awkward. It's that intervention that you need to have with that person who's killing themselves in an addiction. That's not the worst thing to be into, at least. Well, it's not that bad, so we'll just pat them on the head and hope they get over it, but they just don't seem to get over it, and it keeps getting worse and worse, and that attitude keeps growing, and you need to have that intervention, but you don't want to open that box because it's going to get awkward. It's God's voice that's been calling you to Himself. He's knocking on your heart's door, but you're too busy trying to be the Lord of your own life, to let Him be the Lord. You're busy trying to use God to just answer all the good questions and just keep away all the stuff that's bad, because you think you know better than Him what's good for you. Otherwise, you would do what He said. It's that thing that He's been asking you to give up, but you've ignored Him. It's that thing that if you turn and face it tonight, you'll have to deal with it. And it's like a foot that's fallen asleep, and you know it's asleep, and you're like, oh crap. And you're like, okay, I got to face it. And you're like, oh God, and fire comes up and down your leg. And you're like, ah. And for 3 minutes, you're like wailing on the ground. You know what I'm saying? Yes. I have gotten it to an art because I hate to face that. So I'll just hold completely still. And somebody will bump my foot. And I'm like, oh God, I hate that. There's a foot that needs to come alive. There's a part of you that has died that needs to come alive tonight. The point is, we all have a Pandora's box in our lives. You can only pretend not to notice it. And it's only a matter of time before the foot starts waking up, where somebody bumps it, where something happens, and that foot comes alive and is on fire. It's only a matter of time, and I'm just here as a signpost tonight to remind you that life doesn't have to be that way. That you don't have to live like that anymore. That you got a support structure around you, of people around you in this room who love you to death and will do whatever we got to do to help you. That with whatever you're facing here, as bad as it gets, as horrible as it may be, that there is something else inside this box. You have a choice. What are you going to do with this box tonight? Are you going to ignore it? Are you going to pretend like it doesn't exist? Or maybe you could just try to break it into small pieces and hide it somewhere. You know what I mean? But this thing is like the ring, you know, on Lord of the Rings. And Gimli takes his axe and he tries to bust it, but it doesn't bust. You have to go to Mount Doom to destroy what's in this box. You know what I mean? Any nerds out there that know what I mean? And what's in this box, you can't destroy with an axe. And a lot of people are going to get hurt. A lot of people are going to die because of what's in this box. But if you don't face what's in this box, what else could happen? Middle Earth gets taken over by Sauron. That's what happens. What's in this box overtakes all of the good inside your life. You could maybe pretend it's something else, like a coffee table. You know, you could try to excuse it away, or maybe the way you deal with the box is you blame somebody else for why it's here. Well, that's because my mom did this, or my dad did that, or so-and-so did this, or this person ripped this away from me, and now you are a victim. And you live your life as a victim, and it doesn't matter how this box got here, guys. The box is here, and you got to decide what you're going to do with it. Maybe you could scare the box. You know what I mean? Maybe you could get up on this box and be like, Kamate, kamate, gura, gura, kamate, kamate, gura. What the move! What the move! What the move! move. But it doesn't go anywhere. And you're stuck with it. And you're stuck with it. What are you going to do with your box? You can't scare it. You can't ignore it. You can try to be a victim, but it's not going to help anybody. It's going to push more and more people, and this box is going to grow, and it's going to grow so big, and the focus is the only thing that you can see in your life, and to where it's going to control everything that you do, and it owns you now, and you're a slave inside of the box. You are now a prisoner of the box. So you have choices. Or you could be foolish. You could ask the childish questions, the obvious questions. You could ask, why? Why is this box here? Oh, because it's always been there. It's just the way it is. No. But why does it have to be there? Oh, Mikey, you can't go and solve 2,000. Yeah, but why is this here? Oh, but Mikey, you don't understand our people in Europe. No, but why is this here? Oh, because you're of those people and we're of the... No, why is this here? I know it's always been that way, but what if it could change? What if we could do something different? What if this didn't have to control our lives anymore? What if we could break this box open and face it and just see what happens? What if we said, hey, you know what? If God be for me, who can be against me? I'm going to open this thing up and all hell's going to break loose. All the consequences, all the things that have ever come out that I've stuffed down in that box are going to amplify and move against me, but I'm going to have God with me on the other side. What if we had the courage to face what's inside the box, to be foolish? You could face it tonight. Like I said, we as a group are not ready to face what's actually inside this box, but some of you, maybe some of you, maybe some of you are ready to face and brave enough to face your box. And the whole time I've been talking, the whole time I've been preaching, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's burning inside your mind like this box with the red light on it. It's the only thing you can think about. It's that one thing that you've been hiding and you can't hide it anymore. And tonight you said, I'm going to deal with it. Worship team, would you come? I didn't tell you the end of the story. The end of the story is that the only thing left in the box of Pandora was hope. And hope was the most powerful weapon, the most dangerous weapon. Hope is still inside this box. So you could look inside this box, look it straight in the eye, pry it open, face the consequences, and find freedom. The hope that is left in the bottom, so that when the consequences have done their worst on you, you'll have peace with God. I want everybody just to bow your heads. Jesus himself sat in the garden, facing one of the most difficult and awkward situations any human had ever faced. He had opened up a box of wrath upon himself. He faced the cross. He was sitting in the garden one night. He hadn't done anything wrong. We had done what's wrong. We had put all the evil inside this box. Adam and Eve had this box. They opened it up. And he said, I need to do whatever I got to do to get through all that stuff. And he was the hope that was left inside the box. And he had to face the most awkward moment any human has ever had to face. He would be stripped naked. He'd be spat upon. They'd pull his beard out. They'd drive a crown of thorns into his head. They would beat him. They'd curse him. All the things that he was, they would say he wasn't. And all the things he wasn't, they said that he was. And he was sitting in the garden knowing that this was about to happen. And he had a chance to run. He had a chance to not face what was inside this box. All the wrath and all the evil that would come out. He had a choice. And he sat there and he began to sweat blood. Bible says that he was sweating blood because he was so anxious, because it was such a torment to him. That he wasn't just a Superman. He wasn't just a person that didn't have feelings. Like, he understood exactly what we are going through, and he was about to take on the weight of the world, and he would be hung up naked in front of everybody. Cursed to die. He faces his Pandora's box. He faces his cross. He dies so that we could have the hope of God to salvation. Matthew 16:24 says, then Jesus said to his disciples, if anyone desires to come after me, let him deny himself. Those 10 commandments I was telling you about, that's honoring yourself. That's taking your own vindication. But Jesus is saying, do the opposite. Deny yourself. Take up your cross. Basically die. Get ready to die to yourself and follow me. Not just when you feel like it. Not just whenever you want to. Follow me. For whoever desires to save his life will lose it. But whoever loses his life for my sake will find it. For what profit is it to a man if he gains the whole world and everyone worships him, but he loses his own soul? We need to face our cross tonight. Lord Jesus, I thank you that you were our